Racing takes place out at Turffontein on Saturday, the 16th of September 2023. We are racing on the inside track. We've got 9 races on the program. Race number 1 set to get underway at 12:10, the start of the meeting. Bar-part commences in race 2, PA race number 3, and the Pick 6 in race number 4 at 10:02. I'm joined by Alistair Cohen on the line. Alistair, how are you doing? How's things been your side?
Yeah, Raheel, all good. Lovely to chat to you, to all the punters. Hope that Saturday goes well. It's now a standalone Saturday with Hollywoodbets Durbanville moving to the Monday, to the free Monday slot. So all attention will be on this Turffontein card. I quite like it. The weather in Joburg has been absolutely spectacular for the last couple of weeks, and it probably will warm up for the next month or so before the rains, which generally start towards the end of October. So from here, looking forward to a tinge of green to be added to the tracks. Turffontein probably not too far away from turning green. Val probably got a bit longer, but all in all, feature races not too far away, so we're seeing better and better horses stepping out. Case in point being Puerto Manzano on this card.
Yeah, well, looking forward to it. It does look to be quite a decent card. And race number 1 over 1,200 meters, a maiden plate. Well, we've got a strong favourite here in the form of Barbaresco at 6-10, 5-2 Policy of Truth. It's then 10-1. And better bar those. Now, obviously, Barbaresco, he's put in 2 very pleasing runs to date, running second in his first 2 starts. And that second to Sandringham Summit looks to be an absolute cracking performance, given that he's a Group 2 and Group 1 winner. And now going around the turn for the first time, I think the positive is that he's got a good draw to deal with.
Yeah, there's a lot of positives. The only negative, Raheel, would be the fact that he's been rested since the 7th of May, so his fitness needs to be taken on trust. I think a lot of people know that I'm good friends with Jared and Lawrence Verners and chat to them quite a lot. And I actually called the race to Sandringham Summit last time, and they won the next race with a horse, I can't remember whose name it was. Moving in was the winner of the next race. And I went to that box and said, well done, nice win. And they were so sick that they got beaten by Sandringham Summit. They were so upset, thinking, how can we be beaten by Sandringham Summit? What's this horse going to go on and do? And, lo and behold, Sandringham Summit, as you mentioned, are a grade 1 and grade 2 winner. So when I did press Johan Janssen van Vuren the other day in front of Jared and Lawrence Verners saying, you guys now accepted Barbaresco, and they all just grinned, saying, you know what, that was actually a fabulous run in hindsight. So yes, number 4, Barbaresco, if not in dire need of the run, I don't think he would be in dire need of the run, maybe slightly needed, probably wouldn't be 100% ready, but he does set a fairly high standard. The run to Sandringham Summit is better than the run to anyone else, even though a horse like Policy of Truth has run a short head to New Mexico as a subsequent winner, even though we've got Halberdier, who I think ran in a very hot maiden last time out. I think the hottest form on offer is simply that or Sandringham Summit. So number 4, Barbaresco, should open up the day, and it could be a good day for the connections.
Yeah, all in here with horse number 4 in race number 1. Moving along to race number 2 at 12:40, the start of the bar-part 1,200 meters. Maiden plate for the fillies, and this contest has got Woman of Power at the top of betting boards. Even money favourite Whirlybird at 7-2, 4-1 Happy Mo, One Religion at 9-2. It's then 10-1 and better bar those. Now this filly, Woman of Power, she obviously ran a very, very pleasing race on debut. The money was down, lots of talk about her, and she just found one too good in the form of Calamoretta, who has subsequently gone on to win a Group 2. So that form looks to be quite good, and it obviously stands out. And given she comes from the Mike de Kock yard, you would expect her to be fairly fit and fairly ready to rock and roll, and she should be able to get punters off on the right note in the start of the bar pot.
Yeah, the bar pot is my suggested bet on this card, Raheel, and I've banked in number 8, Woman of Power. De Kock's runners, even though they can win on debut, they do step up hugely from run 1 to run 2. I actually phoned Mike on the way to the course. I presented this day, and I phoned Mike and said, a lot of people are asking me about Woman of Power. I'm on course. What do I say? And he said, very nice filly, not wound up first time out, but should run a big race. She ran a big race. Similar comment applies, although Sandringham Summit's a grade 1 winner and Calamoretta isn't. Calamoretta is still a group winner during KZN Champion season. So again, that form has worked out fabulously. JP van der Merwe takes a ride. She gets the bend and a good draw, number 8, Woman of Power. I think all is set up for her. She should win race number 2. She is a bar-pot banker. The only horse that makes me think a little bit is number 7, One Religion, because she has a reputation which currently precedes her. But if she does start to show whatever people have seen, then she could be a danger. But I can't see Woman of Power missing out on the bar-pot. And as far as a bet is concerned, I'd even take the box exact to 7 and 8.
Yeah, Woman of Power, the one to beat here for JP van der Merwe and Mike de Kock. And maybe you want to start off your day with the two favorites, Barbaresco, Woman of Power. Could be a good way to get your Saturday started. Moving along to race number 3 over 1700 meters. This is another maiden plate, 1:15, the off time. And Champagne Cocktail, the favorite here, Mike de Kock's runner, 3-year-old daughter of Silvano, well-bred daughter of Silvano. JP van der Merwe aboard, and she's at around 5-2. She's found early support. Heart Peaks has taken a walk in the market. She's at 5-2. It's 3-1 Crystal Maiden, 9-2 Outer Dimension, Annie with an E, 14-1, and Better Ball those. So obviously, Mike de Kock seems to hold a strong hand with Outer Dimension and Champagne Cocktail. What's your thoughts on the third?
Very interesting that you reveal that money on Champagne Cocktail. She is a sister, a half-sister to Gin Fizz, a full sister to Sparkling Water, and also, not that you'll want to be reminded, a half-sister to Bucks Fizz, who's a one-time winner from 7 starts. I see the next falls by Versing Getrix. I wonder if she went through the sales ring. I highly doubt it, being a filly. So that's interesting, obviously, being a full sister to Sparkling Water. So, genetically, I'd expect something from her. Making a debut over 1700 meters, that would be a rare stance even for de Kock. So I don't know whether she just shows work that she's going to be a stayer in time to come, or whether she's ripe and ready to go 1700 meters first time out. I'm not too sure how to read it. So I've sidestepped her, but the money makes me think that's probably a bit of a foolish decision in a small field. So even though my bar pot numbers are going to read 1 and 7 in the end, number 6 Champagne Cocktail does certainly get in as the safety nets, as the backup. Number 1 Heart Peaks, that's a very clear standard. Mike de Kock's got a line here with White Pearl. Heart Peaks running 2.5 lengths and 3.5 lengths to White Pearl. So he'll know where White Pearl fits in with number 6 Champagne Cocktail. But to me, Heart Peaks just looks like a winner in waiting. Her last start, when there was money for her, she was outrun by Elemental Force. So I see her running next week. There's been a winner from that form line. Peter Sunday Paulie takes her out. And then number 7 Crystal Maiden, although I'm not convinced the Village Green form is the strongest piece of form around, it was still good improvement from run 1 to run 2. She's now stepping up, although 100 meters, to a distance that should suit her more. And as life goes on, the further she goes, probably the better she will be, if she's going to be any good. So 1 and 7 are my numbers in the bar pot, but your observation and obviously the betting movements on number 6 Champagne Cocktail and the breeding to this daughter of Silvano makes me wonder a little bit whether I need one more.
Yeah, well, both Mike de Kock's runners are related to horses that have done well over a trip, namely Aragosta and Sparkling Water. So let's see how they both go. But Alistair with numbers 1, Heart Peaks, and number 7, Crystal Maiden in race number 3. Moving along to race number 4, over 1700 meters, 13:50 the off time, the start of the pick 6. Imvalelo, the favorite, at 3-1. It's 7-2 about House of Romanov. Birthright is at 4-1. 4-1 Royal Edition. Kudzu at 11-2, it's then 16-1, and Better Bar those. Could this potentially be quite a useful maiden in the making? Because there's obviously a few horses that are going to love the 1700 meter trip. I think the likes of Sovereign Call is a horse that we need to keep a very close eye on. At 20-1 in the market, Sovereign Call from the best of the draws. I think that this horse is tremendous value here, Alistair.
And I've also got a horse from a horrible draw, as opposed to Sovereign's Call, who steps up in distance and I think is going to run nicely in the form of number 11, Thomas Rainwater. It could end up being a very strong maiden because we've got horses that are banging at the door. I think we'll get a good glean on how this form is going to work with number 3, Imvalelo, because even though I've made money on Imvalelo, I'm not convinced he's the most genuine around. So if he goes and wins the race, I'll be scratching my head, although I do expect him to run a good race. My bar numbers here are 1, 3, and 11. And I've left out number 2, House of Romanov, who to me was simply outrun on the classic track. He doesn't strike me as a Turffontein inside track horse, but if he does find that his big frame can put a turn of foot together, he could be dangerous. And I've also, against my best wishes, left out number 10, Sovereign's Call, stepping up in distance because he runs like the trip will suit. But I don't know, running 7 1/4 lengths to Fast Duty doesn't fill me with too much confidence. So 1 Royal Edition getting better, closer with every start, carries good form lines to his name. Even though Kinshin Shah's been in that, been around number 1 Royal Edition, I just think Kinshin Shah's got no heart. I think he's a bit of a brass. So I'd look past that and look at horses like King's Ransom, who have come out and won. The dogs are obviously enjoying Royal Edition a bit more than probably I am. Number 3, Valero goes in because he ran in a handicap in his penultimate start. Good second to Fashimi Inari last time. Actually troubled Fashimi Inari for much of the way, who was a red-hot favourite on that occasion. Like I said, I'm not convinced he's the most genuine, but he should give you at least a good run for your money. And then number 11, Thomas Rainwater. My inclusion of Thomas Rainwater has a lot to do with James Crawford's comments to me during the week. I know he's got high hopes for the Son of Flower Alley. He might just need it, and obviously the draw's a bit of a problem. But this horse has obviously showed him a lot of improvement since the last time he was seen. So expect a bit. The run to Majestic Touch has produced some nice winners. The front line probably being the most prominent in my thoughts. So not impossible that he runs a nice race and perhaps makes bets like the trifecta pay.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting maiden, and obviously the start to the pick 6 and a race where you possibly need to include quite a few horses. You can hear it from Alistair, number 11, potentially some value. I think number 10's the value, but maybe horse number 1, Royal Edition, could be the one to beat here. Dennis Schwartz and Philip Labuschagne teaming up, and this horse will be looking to get it right at the 4th attempt, but quite a nice race on offer is the 4th. Moving along to race number 5, graduation plate for fillies and mares over 1,450 meters, and this will be the start of Jackpot 1 at 2. Sharapova, the favorite at 16-10, 3-1 Runaway Bomb, 9-2 about Cape Lights. It's 6-1 and better about those. Now, Sharapova last time out, beaten behind Rattlebag. Now, I'm still scratching my head and trying to figure out how Rattlebag, who was a horse campaigning in the D-class event, 67 handicaps, managed to actually turn a career around and sort of win 2 on the bounce. And I think the margin of a victory last time out is probably 3 lengths. Maybe looks good to Sharapova, but it was quite comfortable. And Sharapova really stood no chance. But where do you think from here, I mean, do you give her a winning chance, or is she vulnerable to a couple others?
Sadly, I'm on the side of saying that Sharapova, for now, is vulnerable. Remember her mother's sister, Mother Russia, kept running second as well. And then she suddenly turned the corner and became a great mare who obviously reeled off many stakes wins. So maybe Sharapova's got that type of tendency that she's a confidence filly, and when she eventually gets the job done, that she could go on a bit of a streak. She's she looks like the rest of the family. She's very athletic, not the biggest around, but just fails to get the job done. I'm with you with getting a read on Rasselbag. She is not the most consistent and genuine around. The genuine's the wrong word. She's not the most consistent around, because she can run an absolute howler, then come out and look like a world beater, beating Sharapova, who is above average in the manner that she did. Sharapova is my top choice because I would still take the belief that she's better than a 78, or that she's going to be better than a 78. So even though you can't put the rent money on number 5, Sharapova, I expect her to at least be there. She is my top selection, but I'll be looking at other bets to potentially make a bit of money here. So number 1, Cape Lights goes in, also ran in a small field last time, beaten by another de Kock runner in the form of See an Enemy. Out of that form, there's been that strange Magic who keeps running places, so she goes down to Hollywoodbets Greyville on Wednesday, and there's some high hopes for her there. So number 1, Cape Lights, she's fairly consistent. What you see is what you get. If she can lug top weight and give weight away, give 3 kilos to number 5, Sharapova, she'll be dangerous. And then at the bottom of the weights, number 9, Runaway Bomb. She doesn't run like she stays, or that she'll get this trip. She's not bred like she'll get this trip, but if she gets this trip, she could be quite dangerous, number 9, Runaway Bomb. So I've put her in probably against my will, because I'm not convinced she'll get the trip, but it's a matter of if. And if she does, off a light weight, she could end up being the right one, getting away with her speed on a fast track.
What's your thoughts on number 4, Trentino? Now, it may not be a best trip, but given that she's running fresh, she's got a good draw to deal with, and 4.5 lengths to none other in hindsight looks to be a very, very good run.
And I thought her best run, funny enough, was the run to Luna Ballad, when she, again, came out fresh after a layoff. Well, not her best run. Her best run was obviously to none other, but that was a very encouraging effort coming back from a layoff. That was on a feature race day. That was on Princess Charlene Day, and Pettigrew was there. And I said, "What are you expecting from Trentino?" And he said, "She'll need it, but she'll run on." And she ran on nicely. So the fresh angle could help number 4 Trentino. I'll be surprised if she won. All my mates are in this. All the golf mates: Mark Campbell, Wayne Jackson, Clintville, Jalo. They're generally in the Wednesday school with us. So I'm sure that they'll be optimistic that she'll get into the first 4. But I'm also sure the word will be wait for her with a run under the belt.
Yeah, Sharapova at 16-10. It's all up to you whether you're going to be confident enough to take that on this individual that seems to find 1-2 good. But Alistair's in a camp. Number 1, another horse that is in with a chance, Cape Light. And number 9, Runaway Bomb, a horse to keep an eye on. And especially if she stays the trip, then she'll be a lively contender. Moving along to race number 6, Graduation Plate, 1,450 meters. 3 o'clock is the off time. Tail of the Comet is the favourite here. Even money favourite. Opened up at around 16-10. Has found the early support. 11-2 about Hawkbill. 7-1 Fire and Flames. 8-1 Union Square. It's 12-1 and Better Bar. Those now. After Union Square won the Dinga, and I'm sure Mark de Kock didn't potentially see this horse sort of going backwards as such, because he hasn't really produced that level of form ever since his win last year on Summer Cup Day. And let's see how he goes. But this horse, Tail of the Comet, he's obviously a horse that Sean Terry holds in high regard. Winner on debut, 7 days later, second in a Group 2, plum draw, Samanga Kumalo aboard, lots in his favour.
Just quickly with regard to number 1 Union Square, top horse. Obviously, after the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas, after that run, he had an injury which set him back. He probably hasn't quite been the same horse, but the last run was encouraging to see. So I don't expect him to win this, but at least there's signs of life after that last run over the wrong distance with steel shoes on. But I've left number 1 Union Square out because I think a race like the Allied Steel Road on a Mission Mile would be more beneficial to him. My numbers here are 3, 5, and 8. Let's start with number 5, Tail of the Comet, as you mentioned, as favourite. He's a bit too short for me, Raheel, I must be honest. He's got a good draw, he's got a light weight, he's held in high regard. He goes 1,450 metres for the first time. The way he ran in the Kamazi Stakes suggests that will be absolutely no issue. My worry, though, and as Sean Terry quotes, the best analogy is if you're at the casino and you're waiting to go on the tables and it's just not quite favouring you at the moment, just sit back and watch and wait for things to start favouring you before you start having a go. Sean is a notoriously slow starter to the season, and for a man of his calibre that's only had 1 winner so far this season, want to be rushing out to take 7 to 10 for now. Although it's a matter of time before there's going to be a meeting, it could very well be this meeting, where everything that Terry sends out, all of a sudden there's a spark. They all start arriving. They all start running good races. Their prep runs go according to plan, etc. So it's not a matter of writing them off and saying, well, he's out of form, I'm going to stay away, because if you stay away for long enough, you are going to get burnt. So 5 Tail of the Comet, for me, the most exciting horse in the race, but the price is just a little bit short just for the form that the yard is in at the moment. But if Terry had 3 winners this week, or 3 extra winners this season, I'd be close to bankering Tail of the Comet. The other horses to go in, number 3, Homer the Brave, dropping in distance, lovely run after a break. For me, that was the run of the race last time in the middle stakes, running second to Silent War. Handicapper couldn't do anything. Bad draws, obviously a worry, but there's something about this horse, number 3, Homer the Brave. And then number 8, Zanovi. I think he punches above his weight. I don't think he can live with number 5, Tail of the Comet, but, well, when I say live, pound for pound, I think Tail of the Comet's a better horse. But Zanovi, keeps defying my expectations, probably everyone else's expectations, by running nice races and good handicaps, and he's a fit horse, so that leads me to believe that he's worth going in with to an extent of running into the first 4, and obviously with the Cock having Union Square and Zanovi, and stable jockey JP van der Merwe riding number 8 Zanovi, maybe the expectations for another nice run from him.
Number 6 Hawkbill, any chance in your eyes? I mean, good draw of gate 2, blinkers go on. That run to Sandringham Summit, I mean, it catches the eye given the headway that he made.
Blinkers, very interesting for me, Raheel. There were times where I thought, even when he won, when he beat Hotter Ruby, it was hard work. It's such a grind with this horse. If the blinkers make him any sharper, Very dangerous indeed. Again, I'd expect a race like the Grandbeck Stakes and the Dingaan to probably be a target. Remember, a lot of these horses are prepping for feature races, and he would be another case in point. Muzieni, interestingly, takes the ride for Lucky Hoodalog, because obviously with this meeting supposed to be a double head, a lot of guys would have had to make a decision whether they wanted to be in Cape Town or Joburg. So that's probably the unlikely combination with Muzi and Lucky. Chance, but again, not his cup final.
Yeah, number 5, Tail of the Comet. Interesting run here, but maybe a touch too short in the market at around 11 to 10, but definitely the one that you want to keep an eye on. Moving along to race number 7, middle stakes over 1,200 meters, and the 7th race on the day has got number 5 back in business as the favorite at 12 to 10. It is 4 to 1 about Austin Kerr, 9 to 2 Tsar Bomber, 5 to 1 Texas Red, 7 to 1 and Better Bar those. This horse back in business. He's obviously quite a talented son of William Longsword that is likely race, so maybe a horse that's got a few niggles, but returning off a rest. He's got a good draw. Joey Soma stable's quiet, but I'm sure this horse could maybe liven things up. And this horse, Austin Kerr, I'm convinced he was a winner last time out. I'm going to go as far as saying he's a winner without a penalty, and I think it's a huge positive that Muzieni takes a ride now.
I like a horse here that's, I think you said 5 to 1, number 2, Texas Red. Even though he is badly out of the weights, he was last time as well in the Betway Spring Spree Stakes, and he ran above himself. Go watch the race that Texas Red had. He raced 3 deep with no cover, had no luck, and stuck around and ran well above his rating last time to finish 3 lengths to Quantum Theory. So for me, number 2 Texas Red is the horse that I was actually close to bankering him, but then I thought better of it. So I like his chances. I think he's a huge chance, and he is my top selection. My backup here is number 6, Good Queen Best, because she ran on so nicely in the Lady Stakes last time out at Turffontein. Just 2 weeks ago, she blew it at the start. She made up a lot of ground to finish 5 lengths to Miss Daisy. Not that she troubled Miss Daisy, but I like to believe that if she got a better start, she finishes much, much closer to Miss Daisy. And she caught my eye to an extent. She's back to the same course and distance. If she doesn't lose ground at the start, she could be quite dangerous as well. With regard to number 5, Back to Basics, for me, this is actually a fair step up in class. I think he's good. I think he's got a reasonable amount of ability about him. He's got draw 1, but Soma again is also not the quickest out the blocks every season. He hasn't had many runners. I know that his horses are now starting to knock on the door, so that's a good sign for his supporters. And then, as you mentioned, number 1, Austin Kerr, got a lot of weight to carry. I know that he's better weighted than number 2, Texas Red, but I'm still of the opinion, even though you quote him to be a winner without a penalty, and that could very well be the case, because I called that race, and I thought Austin Kerr was also 200 metres out winning the race. But since he's been taken up to a 95, he's remained consistent but hasn't won. Even though it's not a true handicap in every sense of the word, I still think 95 is probably a stride just above where he is.
Yeah. Horse number 1, Austin Kerr. Good Queen Best. Well, I can tell you 10 to 1 into 7 to 1 already about this individual, so Alistair likes this one and definitely want to keep an eye on, but number 2, Texas Red, will be the top selection from the Robin Klaasen yard. Moving along to race number 8, 10 past 4 is the off-time 2,000 meters, the trip, the penultimate race on the program, and it is Twatwa Cut, your favorite here. This horse just continues to impress. 22 to 10, 28 to 10, Duke of Sussex, 4 to 1, Puerto Manzano, it's 6 to 1, and Better Bar those. Now, Twatwa Cut, it's quite a step up in class for him, and I'm sure Mike de Kock would have been scratching his head 3 runs ago, because this horse just didn't really seem to be going anywhere. But after winning that maiden, he's certainly turned the corner. He's gone up 8 points for his latest success. He's got just 50 kgs on the back. He's in form. He's improving. He's probably a horse where they thought he could go on to win some nice races. But this big step up in class, do you think he's up to it?
Well, I read a very interesting article about this horse, Twatwa Cut, just yesterday, and Mark de Kock's thinking of putting him into a Pinnacle Stakes. Remember, if he wins, he can only get £6, and if he doesn't win, then you get a very good line of exactly what type of rating you've got to work with number 8, Twatwa Cut. So that's why he's put him in against Puerto Manzano. He gets 12 kilos. He should be getting 112 kilos. But the point is, this horse is so upwardly mobile, Raheel. What I saw last time was so encouraging. That was easily his career best. I know that the form has worked out not very well. Romeo's Magic for me ran a dirty place a week later, but it was a place all the same. I expected more from Romeo's Magic, but Gavin Arena really had to earn his riding fee just to get that horse into the frame. So yes, big test against number 1 Puerto Manzano. Also remember, Puerto Manzano comes off a rest. He'll be targeting the Betway Summer Cup again. There's absolutely no two ways about that. So he won't be at his absolute best. Even though he's good on the inside track, he's better on the stand side track. He is the reigning half-out horse of the year. So this will be a very, very good line. It's a race that I like, but I'm also a little bit worried about, because Puerto Manzano should win. He, like I said, the best horse in the race, not the best weighter. That goes to number 3, Flashy Apache, who I actually think is a chance. But put it like this, Puerto Manzano is on the first 3, never mind the fact that he won't be popping in 100% right. I think that would be a little bit of a blow and a bitter pill to swallow. So I expect number 1 Puerto Manzano to be right there. But then if Twatwa Cut improves any more, and he's open to improve a lot more, then we'll learn a lot about him here. This will be a big test, and I reckon Mark de Kock's program for all his good horses is probably all set out, knows exactly where he's running, when he's running them, and what he's running them in. But I think what time is this race? 10 past 4. I reckon come 4:30, if Twatwa Cut even runs in the first 3 here, Mark's program is completely set up for this horse. He'll know exactly what he needs to do, what rating he's got to work with, and whether he's even considering having it tilt into a race like the Betway Summer Cup, if he can get his rating high enough in time. A win here would take him up to a 93 automatically. Then he's probably a win and a good run away from getting into the field of a lightweight. Not impossible. Could be a well-hatched plan.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about the Betway Summer Cup, because, I mean, he's the type of horse that's got the right type of profile for a race like that to come in well-weighted. And, yeah, let's see how he goes, Twatwa Cut. He's your favourite 22 to 10. He's obviously a horse that's on the up, and let's see how much more improvement there is to come from him in this contest. Moving along to race number 9, a mid-rated 82 handicap over 1,800 metres. Total Surrender, the favourite. Even money favourite. Lucky Udalaka Samango Kumalo teaming up. You Can't Hurry Love is at 33 to 10. It's a 7 to 1 about Haslo Grande, 8 to 1 and Better Baldos. Now, Total Surrender, he's an improving son of Flower Alley. He's on the up. But the handicap has given him 4 points for his latest success, and You Can't Hurry Love's only gone up 1. And You Can't Hurry Love is 1.5 kgs better off, so I can see him turning the form around.
On paper, he should, but I think what you got to remember that Total Surrender, I've come to really, really enjoy this horse because of the heart that he's got. He's, in 2 of his 3 wins, he's actually had to really fight and grind, and he's got the tenacity to probably be a lot better than what he is. I remember when he made his debut and ran second to 100 to 1 shot Severard, and I found Lucky later on. I actually found Lucky before the race meeting and said, you got second base's half brother running. What are you expecting? He said, wow, it shouldn't be running, but it's one and only chance, and if he does nothing, he'll be finding another home tomorrow. And he went and ran second. I said, Lucky, I'm surprised. He said, I actually can't believe it. So he's defied all expectations, number 1, Total Surrender. Samango Kamalo takes it out. Maybe the forceful ride is what he's looking for, although Craig Zaki's done nothing wrong. I know Craig loves the horse as well. Maybe Samanga's extra urgings can probably get him to wake up slightly. He might be a horse who needs blinkers. He might be a horse that needs 2,400 meters plus in time to come. But just the fact that he lifts himself up and wins races that he shouldn't, I wouldn't read too much into the weight turnarounds, because that's just an attribute that Total Surrender has. You'll know another horse that I really like, I'm a fan of, and I think that he's going to win a couple more races, is number 3, Haslo Grande. I don't think he stayed his penultimate start to Battleground. Coming back to 1,800 meters last time, I thought he ran fairly well behind Twin Turbo. He'll always go in, he'll always get considered by me. So for me, I think the winner comes from numbers 1 or 3, with respect for number 6, You Can't Hurry Love, because his rating just came down to a mark that was almost too good to be true. I mean, he was a once 114. He's now a 77. There'll be a lot of bounty hunters that study their ratings. Sheldon Peters being a case in point, who will be keen on number 6, You Can't Hurry Love, and probably will be for a while his ratings in the 70s and 80s zone.
Yeah, and this horse, nothing else matters. I'm sure he's been a frustrating horse for punters to follow, because every time you think it's his race, he's gonna win, he just never pitches up. But 53.5 receiving weight from most of the field, good draw. Could he just be the springer in the pack, or you can't see him beating Total Surrender and the likes of You Can't Hurry Love and Haslo Grande?
I think Brett and James Crawford are going mad with number 8, Nothing Else Matters. I can't believe he's a one-time winner. His last run was bad, but he had excuses, returning, not striding out. I'm on the side of not for a while, not until I see nothing. I'll happily lose money on Nothing Else Matters to know that he's got his confidence up and that we can follow him again, because for now, he's been too costly for me.
Yeah, you're quite right. Number 1, Total Serena, the one to beat, even money favourite, and he's certainly a horse that is on the up, and like Twatwa Cut, he's improving quite quickly. Let's move along to the suggested bet now, and Alistair will take us through his suggested bet, which is a buy pot for racing on Saturday out at Turffontein. So Alistair, take it away.
Starts at 20 to 1 on this 9-race card. So open up with banker number 8, Woman of Power, by 1 and 7, Heart Peaks and Crystal Maiden, but the money on number 6, Champagne Cocktail, and the breeding to Champagne Cocktail, probably wise to include her in the small field. Then race 4, leg 3, I've gone 1, 3 and 11, Royal Edition, Valero and Thomas Rainwater, by 1, 5 and 9, Cape Light, Sharapova and Runway Bomb. Then in the 6th race, the penultimate leg of this bipod, I've gone 3, Home of the Brave, 5, Tail of the Comet, who I think was easily the first selection, and also back that up with number 8, Zenovi. And the final leg, I'm keen on number 2, Texas Red. I think that he's overpriced. Back up with number 6, Good Queen Bess.
Alistair, thanks very much for your time. All the best, and hopefully we've managed to guide the guys in the right direction.
Yep, always a pleasure, Raheel. Like I said, I do quite like the card. I've liked a few and fallen short in some of those. So hopefully the stars are aligned and we can have a good, successful Saturday with all the sport that's going on as well. It's a nice day to be a sport and racing fan.
Yes, absolutely. And racing on Saturday out at Turffontein, quite a few nice races on the program. Some nice horses are stepping out, and we're looking forward to the action that is set to come your way.